Let's keep the calls rolling as you tell the truth about what you saw in the game yesterday, the 42-14 win for the Washington Commanders. Let's keep things rolling with Dontel. Dontel, thanks for holding through the break. You are on the Hoffman Show.
What's going on, Hoffman? It's been a minute.
What's going on, dude? Appreciate you calling in.
I just want to point out two things real quick on this Tell the Truth Monday. The first one, I'm putting it out there. Well, both of them, I want to see your take on it. The first one was she and today was saying that how Jayden, one of his bad plays was holding on to the ball too long with the touchdown for Terry McLaurin. When truth be told, if you watch that play over again, if he hits him right out of the break, he don't hit him. That's a batted down ball because that lineman is right there ready to bat the ball down, which is why Jayden held on to that ball and waited a second before Terry could get into that gap, and he had a throwing lane, which for a rookie quarterback, that is very intelligent. So I was much impressed over that. But to get to the defensive part, and I wanted to ask you about is, I got to tell the truth. I don't know how this day goes if it weren't for the play calling of the Arizona Cardinals because they abandoned the run, and they were killing us on the run. So I want to know what you think about all this.
Yeah, so two things. One, I just watched the playback in the break because I saw your call on the screener, and I was like, let me make sure I got the all-22 look of this. I actually think it's the linebacker that he waits to clear, not the lineman, to wait the throwing lane. He can get that ball up over the line because Terry's far enough away. But Kaiser White, the linebacker, I think is kind of in that lane. And I think he actually, it's hard to tell with the helmet stripe on the tape, but I think he actually kind of takes a quick peek at Jeremy McNichols coming out of the backfield, which moves White out of the lane. Either way, it's probably a tiniest bit touch late, but also he's clearly waiting for something. He knows he has the time, and he knows Terry, like there's plenty of room for Terry to go. So I think it's a great play by Jayden. And to your point, your larger point of like to watch him, manipulate the pocket, manipulate defenders in real time is pretty big time. On your second point, I don't know that Arizona actually abandoned the run that much. I actually thought they still did a good job of getting some runs in there, stealing some yards in the second half. But eventually, they're getting their asses kicked. They got to pass the football. And so, yeah, if it's different from a play calling standpoint in a close game versus a blowout. But you got to remember, because they got that fourth down stop at the end of the half, turn that into a field goal, come out in the second half and score the touchdown, it's 24-7. Before Arizona gets the ball in the second half, they don't have time to run the football at that point. So it really does show you the importance of time score situation and game flow, to use a term that Logan uses a lot. And I think Washington did a great job of controlling that and taking a heavier even dose of the run out of the Cardinals playbook.
Dude, I guessed that they would win 6 games this year, and now, and I know I'm bad because now I don't see us losing 5 games, so I'm taking 11 plus.
Wow. Okay, Dontel, swinging on the extremes. Dontel, appreciate the call. Thank you. It's Tell the Truth Monday here on the Hoffman Show. Let's go to Mill. Mill, thanks for calling. You are on the Hoffman Show. What's your truth on this Monday?
Okay, how's it going, Hoffman? Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm not gonna lie, I love it when Anthony starts the show off with our anthem. We definitely found our quarterback, and like I said, his completion percentage, to being that group of Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Geno, and it's just crazy. I would say a shout out to Jeremy McNichols for kind of stepping up in Austin Eckler's absence. At the same time, just giving credit to Joey Jr. and the defense, with Dorrance Armstrong, like you said, Craig, Allen stepped up, Louvu with the strip sack, fumble, and Cliff Kingsbury, man, he was in his bag. And just a couple of more key points. It's just, JD he was just still calm even after the interception, just to come back and just be so poised. I know we keep using that word, but it's just, it's crazy to see that. And we're at the top of the division. 3-1. I just really don't see anybody that's like us right now. And if we really kind of just steadfast and just keep it game by game, we really can be some contenders going. I'm not saying playoffs, but like I said, it's game by game. But left hand up, we are the Commanders. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, Mill. Thank you. And right now, because I think this is what happens, right, is you give praise, and then people are like, well, you said this if the things change. Right now, there is no one in this division that can compete with Washington. There's no one that is playing consistently as well, team total football, that has played as well as Washington through 4 games. That, I want to say it means nothing, but it guarantees nothing for the next 4 and the 4 after that and the 5 after that. This is not how football works. It is a week-to-week league. Knock on wood that the health situation stays relatively similar to what it is now, where you have all your key pieces. Like, I hate to say it, but like the Chiefs' season fundamentally changed yesterday because they lost Rashee Rice. They got to figure that out. I'd like to figure it out if I'm them and I have Patrick Mahomes, but they still have to actually do the work. And that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? The rest of the season for Washington is about continuing to do the work. And yesterday especially, but really all 4 of these games, the work didn't work as well versus Tampa. And there was definitely, I think defensively against Tampa, New York, and even to an extent Cincinnati, there's a lot more work to be done. What they did yesterday is like, okay, they did the work. It's not always going to be that good in terms of the result, but that was a pretty special performance, and it shows what they're capable of. And I think what they're capable of is maybe a little bit more than most people thought they would be capable of this quickly based off the talent on the field. And frankly, to round this out here, what people thought of their coordinators, listening to the national media talk about Cliff is genuinely hilarious, because a lot of people are just like, this is not the dude that I thought he was. And I'm like, I get it on some level, but I also think that maybe people look at the end in Arizona and kind of forget how good how many opportunities he created for them, and that they had some talent issues. He didn't do a good job managing the relationships in the building, so he wasn't getting the most out of guys, which is something he has talked about in a good piece that Sam Fortier did last week and a couple of his press conferences. He's mentioned this as well. And instead, now you have a guy who's completely locked in to his players and completely locked into what he needs to do as an offensive coordinator, not balancing the rest of the responsibilities as a head coach. And you're seeing why a lot of the people that all the same people consider the best minds in offense and football all look at Cliff as a guy that they see as on their level. And so there was no guarantees it was going to go this way, but it is interesting, and why I was much more open-minded to the fact that Cliff might be really good at this, because it's one thing to look at what he's done, but it's another thing to understand what he's capable of. And clearly, like the Kyles and the Seans and the Kevins, like any of these guys that have worked with or talked ball with Cliff, go, that dude's one of us. And I don't think that should have been taken as lightly as it was. And he is proving that, even though he goes about it differently, using some different weapons, using some different clubs than they use to get around the course, if you will, Cliff has shown that he's every bit of that so far this season.
This is the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.